Hello and welcome to the Just for Gamers video game podcast. Episode 151. So many choices. In this week's episode, where's the chicken?
Tunbridge Wells.
JfG Ash goes hunting.
Big game.
JfG Alex gets virtual. There's some news.
But not much news.
And finally, is VR there yet?
No.
Spoilers.
Hello and welcome to the JfG podcast. This is episode 151. My name is Alex, and I'm joined by my very good friend Ash. Hey buddy, how you doing there?
What's up, my man?
What up YouTube, it's your boy.
I've been watching some Vic and Bob on YouTube this week, and the old Doctor, what's his name, Shakamoto or something, fucking pissing myself. Big thanks to John putting me onto that as well. And he just had the interview with old Dr. Shakamoto. He pops out and goes, "What's up, my man?" It's just like, yep, mildly racist. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as always, feeling good on a Wednesday this week, buddy. Yeah, sparkling thoughts give me the hope to go on.
That's the thing they do, isn't it?
As
They
always.
give you the hope to go on and so
I'll tell you
on.
what, I'm gagging for a fucking beer.
And what are you drinking this evening, buddy?
I'm on the Abbott's, the old Green King Abbott's Ale tonight.
Oh, very nice.
It's a 5% now, it'll do the job.
Yeah, that's very tasty
What I
indeed.
want. Well, I mean, I've literally just made notes for this 2 minutes ago, so I'm super prepared for this podcast this week.
Oh, lovely.
I mean, this week's gone so quick, it's insane. Like, time is of the essence. Evanescence?
What have you been doing with that time?
That's a tough question. I mean, one that I'm gonna hopefully answer right now. Well, a while back, I've been talking about playing some of my old games. You know, hold off from buying new ones. Made that list and obviously failed at the task because I've clearly bought a new game this week.
Oh, he's won at the game of buying games.
Won at the
again.
game of buying games. Yeah, thanks to JJ twisting my arm last week or whenever it was, saying there, yeah, you should just fucking try it. So yeah, I bought Monster Hunter World, buddy. Stuck about 15 hours into it now. It's going good. I think. I don't know. I'll talk about it later.
Are you playing? Yeah, I'll ask you various questions about it when we move out of this section, because that's where we do these things. There's a structure for a reason, and I was just getting,
It's just a bit too keen.
I was getting keen, and
You were.
a natural gamington's buddy. I was like, I'm just going to start asking him all sorts of fucking questions about that video game.
You're curious.
Yeah.
Curious.
But just curious.
Yeah. Okay.
Just curious.
But yeah, I managed to play with a couple of hours with JJ as well at the weekend. Play some Monster Hunter with him. Yeah, he showed me some of the ropes. Like, I think I have a firm grip of how to.
He's got a grasp now.
I've got some grisps of how to play that game now. After playing it for 15 hours, which was, probably a lot longer than it should take to get hold of a game. But big RPGs. Lots of new things to learn. It's been good. I went to a shitty theme park this week. Good. What's the name of it? White something? I don't know. Anyway, it's in Nottingham. It's like for younger kids. There's a little farm there. There's a runaway train. There's what's the things you go down on the old the mats? I can't remember now.
Helter Skelter.
Kind of like a Helter Skelter, but not that
Yeah.
cool because it doesn't go round and round. It just goes down.
It just helters. It doesn't skelter.
Yeah, I think so. It's just a Helter.
You went on a helter.
Yeah, not so
Okay.
great. And and it rained there as well, so that was good.
Lovely.
Fun day
Yeah.
out for me.
There's a lot of it about.
Yeah, I went to Birmingham today. I went to the NEC, the Northern Eastern Centre.
You going with that, are you?
I think that's right.
Okay.
What is it? Like something energy crisis? Northern energy crisis? I don't know. I have no idea. Is it something?
I'll take a punter exhibition centre to begin with, and then maybe I chuck, I don't know, national or something like that on.
Not Northern.
Exhibition. I'm going to go exhibition centre for
National
the E and the C.
Epidemic Centre.
The epidemic centre, yeah.
Okay, so I went there today.
That'd be the one.
Don't really ask me why. There was a caravan show. I got invited by the in-laws. They were going, and caravans, mate.
You in the market, buddy?
Not really. There was a climbing wall there, though, which was fun.
Okay.
I waited around for an hour for my son to have 5 minutes on a climbing wall. That was really cool.
That sounds great.
Oh, mate, I loved it. It was the best experience of my life.
At the caravan show.
Caravan show, mate. What actually did make my week better was I fixed my lazy shit-ass controller. When you hold down L2, it walks forward. I fixed it.
Oh, shit, okay. How did you achieve this, buddy? Did you take it apart?
Furious Googling, obviously.
Okay,
right. Masterful Googling. Found one single post, and this guy was like, yeah, it's to do with your analog stick, like, little springy thing inside it. It's, like, fucked. I was like, okay, and he put a link up to a video. I was like, that's really easy. He was like, I got an old one out of a 360 controller, popped it in. Bob's your uncle. Fanny is your aunt. You're in.
She's your aunt?
She's your aunt. I mean, and Christmas is your father, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
I can get
Father,
behind that.
Christmas? That makes sense.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, mate, totally. I cracked it all open, pulled it all to bits. It was great fun. I love getting stuck in it. It felt like back in the day when I used to like open up all my consoles and do stuff to them.
We won't talk about what you were doing to them, but...
fucking them.
I think porking is the term.
Yeah, fucking them. Real good.
Yeah.
Putting
creating wang space.
I remember putting little neon lights in my original Xbox. That was pointless and fun. Good times.
That was a great console.
And now I have that bug again, and I want to put crazy little lights in my controller. So I've bought some. My other two controllers, my other two PS4 controllers, like my son's one and my first one that I got with my original PS4. Ugh, that's a horrible thing to say. The thumb grips on them were completely, they're totally destroyed. You know what it's like. They're fucking terrible unless you buy like thumb grips to go on top. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to buy some new ones. So I bought some green ones and some white ones. And
nice.
Yeah, I'm going to pop them in. They were like £3 each. So yeah.
There you go.
Well, £3 for a pair. Each pair. There you go. So that should be fun. And I was looking at all different coloured cases you can get. And I was like, ooh. Oh dear. And then it reminded me of the couple of pictures that JJ sent us of his like customized controls. I was like, yeah, I should fucking do it. So yeah, I'm contemplating like spraying my controller some outlandish colour, obviously. And
caught the bug.
Totally pointless, obviously.
Time to see how far the rabbit hole goes.
But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm on board. Let's get the job done, eh?
Get some liquid cooling in your Pro.
I mean,
overclock that shit.
Probably custom a bad BIOS.
Idea. Yeah.
Worth a go, though, I reckon.
Yeah. I'm going to build a PS4 Pro with a PS4 built into it.
Oh. Yeah, SLI that shit.
In the one box.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
then you can
multiple
you can have like
screens,
2 systems in one box, and allows for network gaming and
with yourself
playing on 2 separate televisions in one box.
One box, 2 screens.
This weird dream, haven't I, with the multiple screen thing? I'm not sure.
I don't know where that's going.
Where it's coming from.
It's odd, mate. You're just mental.
Yeah, a bit weird.
Yeah. So yeah, mate. That's my week. The highlight was taking apart a controller and putting it back together, and it fucking
making that what you will, I guess.
Well, yeah, There you go. What have you been up to, mate? Anything, nothing, what have you?
I've been pretty busy.
It's been a busy boy.
I've been doing all sorts. Yeah.
Licorice, all sorts, is that?
I'll tell you some of the things.
Please.
There you go. Yeah, I had my sort of birthday weekend, buddy.
How was birthday and birthday weekend?
It was cool. I had birthday weekend. Had some of the friends of the podcast down, buddy. The Fotups coming down.
Oh yeah.
We had friend of the podcast Paul. We had friend of the podcast Pizzle, and we had friend of the podcast Funk coming down and brushed up the old VR, buddy, which arrived on Friday from outsa.co.uk. Open. The box was open when it arrived.
Of course it is.
From the Czech Republic, the box was open.
Yeah. Don't worry about
that. The guy
that.
was like, "Can you sign for this?" And I was like, "Can I look in the open box first?" And he was like, "I thought you might want to do that." I was like, yeah, fucking would. But there was...
I mean, at what point do you think that box got opened, or was it just never like sellotaped or sealed?
That box was never closed because there was an Ulza packaging tape on the box, and whoever done it, they must have been in some sort of a rush, buddy.
Yeah.
Because they literally just taped one of the folds, like one of the lids, like, and they didn't really get tape on the other side. There was a tiny overhang of maybe a mil.
I mean, if there's a mil, I mean, that's it. Yeah. Health and safety.
And at
standards.
one end, they hadn't even like gone over the edge. It had stopped on the top. This one piece of tape is the most slapdash tape job I've ever seen in my life. But thankfully, there were only 2 items in the box.
That's okay then.
One of them was the EU to UK 2 to 3 pin plug, which for some reason was still in there.
Nice.
And then the other one, everything that I bought, so the wands, the move controllers rather, they were all inside the PSVR box. It was some sort of big package box.
Package box, yeah.
So those were the only 2 items. There was nothing to fall out, and no one had stolen anything, so it was all intact and it was fine.
Nice, good. So your big package was all intact and complete.
It was all, my big package was all intact. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. Ready to spit out everywhere.
Nice.
There you go. So yeah, lovely weekend, buddy. Just birthday weekend. For a bit of a get together, we went out a lot more than we stayed in, which is not really the normal done thing when it comes to these sorts of occasions. We tend to just play games.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
We went out on the Friday night. We went to watch the football. We got some Marlowe's burgers.
Nice.
Had a lovely old time. And on Saturday, we were out from we went out for breakfast and we got home at like 7 p.m. So we were out like the whole time. We just played games in the evening.
Nice.
Obviously, I'll talk about all those games in the next bit, buddy. But needless to say, a fucking awesome time was had by all. Mrs. took me out to the Ivy on my birthday night as well.
Nice.
On Sunday night. It was fucking awesome. I mean, hoping to go there for ages. Been there for breakfast before, but like proper Ponzi restaurant, and it lived up to it. It was very, very good.
Love it.
Also been to the Harry Potter thing, buddy, the Warner Brothers studio tour.
Oh, how was your Potter experience?
It's really cool, isn't it? I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It's there's something quite amazing about walking around the actual sets for a movie series that you've watched like so many hours of, and had to keep reminding myself that this wasn't like a recreated attraction thing like London Dungeons or something like that. This was literally all the props and everything. And
exactly.
It was very, very cool. I think that the way it was put together with like going into the cinema and then like into the Great Hall, and it was quite nicely paced, and lots of just interesting stuff, like the whole train station, going on the train and everything, very, very cool, and getting outside and seeing like the triple decker bus and like the house and everything. It was just really cool. Like I've never really seen anything quite like that before. because, I've done like the Universal Studios tour and stuff, but you're just going around on like a trolley bus and you're miles away from shit. But to be standing in like rooms from the movies, like, pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, being that up close and stuff to it. Did you have some butterbeer?
I didn't. I'd been told by no less than 4 different people to avoid that like the fucking plague.
Terrible.
And I did, because as well as 4 people telling me it's shite, it was also like super expensive along with everything else there.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Fucking $2.99 for a little bottle of water.
Love it. I mean, you got to stay hydrated, buddy.
Fucking ridiculous, mate. No chance. I'll go fucking thirsty. Thank you very much.
I'll drink my piss before that.
Yeah. So yeah, that model of Hogwarts, the one they actually filmed.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous.
That's
like
insane,
the size of
it? It's absolutely
like
insane.
in a hangar.
Yeah. So cool. Like I loved it, and like so did my son. Like obviously he's the one he's a big old Harry Potter fan. He loves the films and things. But yeah, it was just a magical experience, buddy.
Gibbons B, very impressed with them. It was very, very good. So yeah, that was good fun. And then we stayed up somewhere around that neck of the woods in Made Up Place Name, the village of Made Up Place Name.
Nice, yeah.
I can't believe this is a real place. It's Hartingfordbury. There you go. I just had to type it into Google to make sure that I got it right, because it's kind of hard to remember. Hartingfordbury.
Of course it is.
So they've just taken like 3 different end of place names from UK towns.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. Like we used to, when me and friend of the podcast Paul used to play Pez in the like noughties, we would have like teams with like loads and loads of suffixes. So we had Farmtown City United.
Yeah.
And then I went to Hartingfordbury.
There you go.
Just
actual place.
Come now. Yeah, actual place.
Yeah.
Stayed at a really nice B&B up there. And then today, buddy, we went to the zoo. We went to Whipsnade.
Ooh.
Been to the zoo, saw all the aminals.
Aminals.
Saw all the fluffs, buddy. Yep. Saw some otters.
Nice. Did you see
saw
the
red
otters
panda? Saw some horses and there's some zebras.
Ooh, which is also
saw some lions and tigers. There was animals there and everything. Some funny goats. Some ostrich who thought he was a bit of a joker.
Yeah.
And they've got like kangaroos who are just free roam.
Just do what you want.
You're just walking down the path and fucking kangaroo just charging towards you. He just fucks off into the nearest field.
Skippy.
Yeah. I thought they were dangerous.
I thought they could knock you out in like one punch.
Yeah, well, these were little.
Okay.
I mean, they were only sort of half the height of me.
They could punch you straight in the nuts, though. I mean...
They could certainly take out a child.
Well, definitely. I mean, that's pretty easy. Children are weak.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was surprised by it, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was surprised by it, buddy.
Fuck it, health and safety, who cares?
But yeah, like, considering it's the like middle of winter and fucking freezing cold, we had an excellent day at the zoo.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. Zoos.
So yeah, I think that's my week. I'm still off at the moment. We're going neon crazy golf at the weekend.
Neon crazy golf. Is this at night time?
It's indoor, like neon lighted. Everything glows in the dark.
Okay.
Like the holes, the balls, the clubs, the windmills, presumably.
Glow in the dark windmills. Sounds like a good rave.
Gibbons body. It's going to be pretty special. Yeah. I'm off work at the moment, which is why I'm in such a good mood. It won't last, though.
No, I've got like a big old meeting at work tomorrow, which should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Sweet as the punch, buddy.
I love it.
It's not what you want. Finally, on my list of things that I've done, I had KFC tonight, and those in the UK at the moment will know what an ordeal it's been to get KFC of late.
Just don't even talk to me about KFC.
It's made the news.
It has made the news.
KFC in the UK have changed their courier for their chicken to DHL, who've completely fucked it, and all the KFCs are closed, buddies. There's a fucking epidemic over here right now. People are going crazy.
I'm not happy about it.
You can't get KFC?
I need that finger-licking chicken.
I was like, well, okay, so they've got like a distribution problem, but surely all of the like service stations around the M25 will have chicken, because that's like literally the easiest place to get chicken to is like on the main like motorway of the United Kingdom.
Obviously,
no,
that's it. I mean, it's well known as Chicken Lane.
Chicken Lane is known for being Kentucky Fried fantastic. No, mate, fucking, they're all closed. The service station chicken places all shut.
Fucking
ridiculous. Anyway, I stopped talking about that. Anyway,
what has the world come to if I can't go on the motorway and get fucking finger licking chicken?
That's what this country was built on. Crawling around the M25, stopping off for Kentucky Fried Chicken that's £4 more expensive than it would normally be.
I know, and
it's a staple of yeah, no. I'll stop.
I love how retarded we are. Well played.
Finally, I'm drinking a selection of very tasty ales that friends of the podcast, they left a load of booze for me.
I mean, that's the best leaving gift, apart from them leaving.
Didn't get through it all. Yeah, so currently enjoying a Ringwood Brewery Razorback, buddy.
Cheeky Razorback, yeah.
Razorback. I got a Cumberland Deep Golden Ale here.
Got the word "cum" in it. It's got to be good.
And some sort of...
It's got a knob gobbler.
Got a knob gobbler just here, buddy.
Yes, I love a good knob gobbler.
Fucking Witchwood Brewery, mate. You can't really argue.
I've been near that.
You've been near that? Tell us more. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well.
Looked it up on the map. There it was.
Cool story, Hansel. Cool. Well, unless you've got anything else, buddy, and please tell us if you do.
I really don't have anything else, I promise.
Let's go and talk about what we've been playing. So, I've got a rather lengthy list here, buddy.
I know, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet, and then this is pretty much going to be your VR section.
I think it probably is, but firstly, and also importantly, because I would imagine most people don't give a fuck about my VR section. What have you been playing this week, buddy?
Yes, mate. I've still been smashing Mario Kart 8.
Been spashing it.
Been spashing all over it.
Just spashing it. Just been spashing it.
Been spashing it. Oh, mate, I've already had like 20 opportunities for fucking podcast titles already. Spashing it.
Spashing it.
Yeah, episode 151, spashing it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been spashing Mario Kart 8 still. Fucking loving that game. So much fun, and the multiplayer, once again, is just awesome. Literally, if you have a Switch, you need this game. I didn't realise how much I missed this type of game, because when we're on the store pretty much every day on the PlayStation Store, and we're like, we want that Mario Kart game. And nothing's going to compete with Mario Kart, mate. Nothing's going to compete with it.
No, we know that. It's no one's ever really done it. The closest that I've ever seen was that Sonic, and was it like
Sonic Racing?
Racing Transformed or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
That was a kart game, and it was cool, but it still wasn't as good as like Mario Kart.
No.
It's always been the Mac Daddy, hasn't it?
Yeah, Gibbons. Been playing The Division. Played that on game night, because obviously you guys were VRing it up, and I was I was not. So I was playing with a couple of my mates, finishing off The Division. We finished all the story missions. We were up till about like 2:30 in the morning playing it, which I don't know what we were doing, but anyway. We ended up in the dark zone, getting all the kind of super gear, and we hit like a plateau. Like, going back to it now, there's obviously a lot more like end game content there. There was a whole feeder mission to buy the DLC, which I thought was a bit shitty of them.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, cool. They've added some more missions, and it was like literally a mission of like a couple of waves of enemies, and it's like, oh, now you have to go and buy the DLC or some bollocks like that kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool, brilliant. So what they've done now, there's like tier systems. So like you hit level 30, then you go into tier 1, and you have to rank up your number up to like 180 or somewhere near that. And then when you hit that, you can enter tier 2, and everything's the same. But you just fight a a harder level enemy, but which is fine because you've upgraded your gear to that level, so then you beat them and you get more, and it goes up to like tier 5 or something now. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with that game now, again, unfortunately.
I mean, that doesn't exactly sound compelling.
No, it was really cool, like when we hit 30 and like loads of shit started dropping for us then, like we were getting all kinds of like golden gear. I saw a new color of gear. I was like, what's this? Like, it was a bright green. And I was like, wow, cool, new stuff to get. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't like... I mean, you could keep playing that game, but I think that the base of that game isn't good enough to keep playing. Like, whereas, like, comparing it to, like, the gameplay of Destiny, you know, Destiny shits all over it because Destiny's gameplay is all, like, nice and smooth and it's fun to shoot, whereas the gameplay in The Division can be clunky and extremely infuriating because the AI are cunts, really, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. The two games have a hell of a lot in common, but one thing they don't have in common is quality of gameplay experience, Indeed. Encouraging you to want to repeat that content.
Totally.
Yeah.
And finally, I've been playing Monster Hunter World. I don't think I can say too much about it at this stage. I've only just cleared like the first area. I've moved into the second one. But yeah, it's I'm trying to think of what to go into here. Like I'll talk about like the basics of it really. Obviously on the PS4 Pro I have options where I can run it at a higher frame rate, or I can have better graphics, which is like better shadows and better draw distances and things like that. So obviously I went for frame rate because frame rate is key, and after investigating into pretty much watching a Digital Foundry video about it, for what I've got, because I haven't got a 4K TV, that for me is probably the best shout, I think, because if you run it with enhanced graphics, as they say, that frame rate really takes a knockdown. I mean, it's not great anyway. Like in the video that they mentioned, this game would benefit so much to a locked 30 frames frame rate, because you know, like it's kind of all over the place. Like, but with the Pro, it will stay comfortably always above 30, no matter what you chuck into it. So I'm contemplating just going with like the graphical upgrade, to be honest, and sacking off the frame rate and seeing how I get on with that, and just run it at like 30.
Yeah, I mean that seems to make a hell of a lot of sense. If you're not gonna maintain like a 60, then you might as well go with the higher.
I think only in like one area within the whole map that it runs at 60. Like the majority of the time, it's like 40, 45, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not really gonna like.
So you might as well take the graphics then.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. There is a lot to fucking get into this game. This is like obviously a JRPG with online elements, and a hell of a lot of stuff to learn. So if you like your RPGs and learning all this shit, then yeah, it's probably a game for you. If you don't, then yeah, you're not going to enjoy this. The combat itself is good. Now I understand it. I'm using something called an insect glaive, which is like a big old pole, and I have this like massive bug on my wrist. I can shoot this bug out to get buffs, like better attack, better speed, less knockback as well, I think it is. And then when I've got all three of them, like I become like a bit super, which is kind of cool. The reason that I chose the insect glaive is you can use it as like a pole vault as well. It's the only...
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's the only weapon where you can do like aerial attacks. And I was like, well, that's kind of up my street a little bit. I don't know why, but it just interested me, instead of using just like a long sword or a massive hammer or whatever. The other one that I think I might change to is the standard bow and arrow, because I think the range attack would suit, especially if you picked up this game. I think you should go for the bow and arrow, because you don't have to get in there and get stuck in with like various combos and things like that which you can learn, but most of the time it's just a case of like you've got triangles, your soft attack, circles, your hard attack, and then obviously X is dodge out the way. It's nowhere near on the scale of like Bloodborne and Dark Souls and stuff like that, where you've got to be very precise. It's a lot more forgiving, I would say, this game.
Do you think the bow does enough damage? Like the ranged stuff?
I don't know, to be honest, because I haven't tried it, but I
suppose if you were working co-op with someone, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, so you can have someone getting stuck in there as like a tank. You can be back doing your bow and arrow shit, and but just from viewing like the videos, because it's quite nice. It gives you like a little, not a tutorial video, like an optional video to watch, like what that weapon can do before you pick it up and have a go in the training area and stuff like that, which is cool. Yeah, so like later on in time I might have a go at the bow and arrow, because dealing with like the hitboxes of some of these animals and things like that can be a bit confusing. The fact that you're clipping in and out of them all the time, it's just a bit like jarring in a way, I would say, just because I'm not used to that. But obviously after playing it for a lengthy amount of time now, I'm totally on board with the combat style in this. I feel quite confident in my abilities to take stuff down, but the monsters themselves can be quite annoying, because fucking the last one that I fought, like, it popped out of the ground and I was like, fuck off, am I going to take this on? It was fucking massive, mate. Let's put it that way. Normally I'm like, biggest thing I've been fighting so far was 4 times my size. This must have been like, I don't know, twice that. It was fucking shit. I was just like, and that's the thing. Wow. I think that's what's keeping me, or not keeping me, but like making me more interested in this game. It's like, fuck me, I think there's going to be like some massive fucking monsters that I'm going to have to take down. I'm purposely not looking at like later game footage because I don't want to spoil that surprise that I had, like just in that one section, thinking like, holy, I suppose
the reveal is massive.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
terms of like the excitement of a game like this, because you just don't want to know what it's going to throw at you in advance, do you?
So then obviously you know, like that took me like a good like 20-25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to like just actually defeat that one boss, because it's kind of annoying. There's no health bar, which I kind of find infuriating, because I don't know how much more I have to kill it. Down in like the bottom left hand of your screen, there's an icon of the monster and like a heartbeat monitor underneath it, and I'm like, okay, when that flatlines, he's dead, kind of thing. But it's just like I don't know. And normally when they get close to death, like they scamper off and, I don't know, go and eat something to regen their health. And so if you don't get there quick enough or like hit them quick enough, they can get health back, and then it can be quite an infuriating sequence of events, let's put it that way. But when you do kill it, fucking hell, do you feel good. It's that horrible like trade-off, like, shit, I've spent like half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever, beating the shit out of this guy. I could lose this at any minute. But then when you pull it off, you're like, holy shit, that was amazing.
I guess, yeah, I mean, you need it to be that much of an ordeal, and I remember that from Bloodborne, you know? And obviously it's not demanding in the same way necessarily, but it needs to be like a real time sink for
exactly.
you to come out the other end and be like, fucking come on.
Yeah, exactly. Make you feel amazing. But then again, it could completely turn you off of that kind of game. It's a fine balance, I would say.
Gibbons, buddy. I need to give it a go. I've got it installed now. Thanks for sending it over to my console.
That's all good, buddy.
But I certainly need to give it a try.
Yeah, man. Like, literally, like when you do, and if we're about, because I'm playing with 2 other guys, so John Boy and Evis, the guys that I always play Destiny with, which is kind of cool. And you can have teams of 4. So if you want to get involved, just saying, like, the first 3 hours of that game is pretty much tutorials, though unfortunately, like I said, there is a lot of shit to get through. You could probably speed run it if I just talk you through it, but
I was gonna say,
do it like in an hour.
Yeah, well, you know, a game of that size, you got to just kind of accept that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, just thinking like the first time you played Skyrim, you're just like, what the
yeah, well, it was the same with The Witcher,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
It took me a minimum of 2 hours, and that was on my 3rd attempt at playing it. So
exactly. So yeah, these big
really
games,
grumble.
You got to put in the time and shit. So yeah,
absolutely.
Like I said,
fair enough, buddy.
15 hours in, still enjoying it. Looking forward to beating off some more monsters. Yes,
yeah,
I said,
fuck them up, buddy.
I said that. So yeah, buddy, that's about me. I'm sure there'll be more Monster Hunter World talk next week, but obviously not so much of in depth. I would I'd say.
Fair play, B.
So come on then, hit me with your VR jizz on my face.
Okay. Obviously, I've played a hell of a lot of games.
You've played a lot of games.
I won the game of buying games this week.
You bought a lot of games.
I dropped 50 quid on the store on new games.
You did.
So I picked up Super Hot VR, Resident Evil 7. I picked up the Dirt Rally VR upgrade. Surgeon Simulator, the VR experience.
I totally want to play that.
It's fucking well funny. And then I've got a whole host of demos. I also toured the Hong Kong and US stores for VR demos that aren't available in Europe. And picked up Andre Iniesta, the VR experience, which was an experience.
I was going to say that must be an experience.
It's an upcoming 2-hour documentary, all filmed with a 3D camera, so you can...
twist your head.
It's pretty cool. Like, it was a little 2-minute trailer for it, but there were some wonderful moments, like sitting in the Camp Nou and being in a parade as like Barcelona buses going past and stuff. Like pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
So as well as a lot of games, I've tried out watching some normal video, some VR video. I've also played some like non-VR games in the headset, just like trying stuff out basically.
How's the non-VR stuff? How does that kind of work? Does it chuck you in like a big cinema thing and then there's a little screen, or what? Is it how does it feel?
Yeah, it's just like a telly, but it gives you it's kind of an isolating experience, because in the VR headset you just see a TV like 4 times the size of yours just right in front of you, and just darkness all the way around the outside.
Okay.
It's got like 3D sound and everything, so you can kind of get I don't know, it's just a bit of a weird one. It's not something that you'd probably do, but you can zoom in. So I've seen a few people with sort of non-VR games like Project Cars trying to make it VR a little bit by zooming in, going cockpit view, and then because you're zoomed right in, you can actually look around even though it's not VR.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Which isn't really ideal.
No, but still.
Obviously looks like horse shit. And it's worth noting that in terms of graphical fidelity within the headset, it's not high. It really isn't high. A lot of the games, I'd probably say graphically, in terms of like fidelity, and textures and stuff, there's a lot of like 360 stroke PS3-ness going on here in terms of like...
I feel like that's not too bad.
It is. It really isn't, because the frame rate is always super, super high.
Yeah.
And the fact that you feel like you're in there just carries it. It's just... there's something about it that just carries it, and it doesn't matter, the fidelity. Now, that might change if I was to be given a Vive and play that for 20 hours, then that could well make a massive difference. But for me, coming in with no point of reference, just happy to be there, it hasn't felt like an issue at all to me. And as I've said, like, stuff can't run badly because they couldn't release it with and like get past the health warnings. Like if the game's frame rate isn't fucking perfect, then people are going to be chucking up all over the place. So
yeah, that doesn't sound good.
What you can rely on is performance, even if you can't rely on graphical fidelity. So there we go. So yeah, the highlights by far. Firstly, Super Hot VR is an absolutely incredible experience, like no other that I've ever had with any video game. It's absolutely incredible, like being able to just fire up into these different scenarios, and nothing moves unless you move, so you're sort of picking up guns, the ability to dodge bullets coming at you, and taking it slowly. Like, I've had a lot of success by just being real slow, like gradually reaching down for a gun. And time doesn't necessarily move when you're moving your head, it's when you make actions with your hands and that sort of thing that time really moves forward.
That's kind of cool.
So you can kind of sum things up, and also if you're holding anything, you can block bullets with it, and if that's guns, then they don't explode. It's not like a one-hit kills your gun thing.
Yeah.
So you're literally in situations where you've got 3 or 4 people coming in from different angles, and you're holding like a couple of Uzis up like this, just sort of like holding up around your head and just kind of slowly blocking a bullet to your left, and then bringing them over and blocking a shotgun blast to your right. And choosing when to fire, because when you do shoot one of your guns, that moves time quickly just for a second or two. It's hard to explain, but it's like real life changing in terms of gaming.
It sounds like the best puzzle game ever.
It is. It's a puzzle game with your body. Yeah.
Exactly.
And some of the stuff that you can do, once you got... Like, it works very, very well with the Move controllers, and once we got the hang of throwing stuff...
Yeah.
Which I took ages. Like, it felt like the timing was really hard, pushing the button to release, and then until we realised that you hold the button down and then releasing the button allows you to throw it, and it felt very natural at that point. Ooh. So, yeah... It creates these incredible moments where, you know, someone's about to shoot you and you dodge a bullet and you throw a knife and it hits them, and then their gun flies up into the air and you can slow motion catch that gun and fire it off at someone up on a balcony in the distance. All of it actually doing it, like, it just feels incredible. Absolutely brilliant.
Have you had any mishaps with the VR yet? Like,
very close to knocking stuff over several times.
Nice.
When we first fired it up, I didn't realise quite how much distance it was going to be, and this is a plus rather than a minus, really. A lot of PlayStation VR games, obviously, because we haven't got this sort of sensor technology like the Vive does, is sit down affairs a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But Super Hot makes use of great distances, like, all around you, and we found sitting down on the sofa, like, sometimes you can't reach stuff, like, you just need to sort of get up and I've played it since standing up, and it was much better.
Yeah, I could see that.
So nearly knocked some wine over a few times.
Oh my god.
But just about situation averted and lesson learnt.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that's got to be one of the highlights.
It was the solution, wine hat.
Wine hat's a solid idea, yeah.
Or wine backpack.
Wine pack. Yeah. It's kind of important to be supervised when you're first starting out with this thing, just so that you can make, like, you got someone who's going to stop you from maybe throwing yourself out the window or like punching the fucking radiator or anything like that.
Who was it? Was it Ronnie O'Sullivan or someone? One of the
he's playing a VR pool.
It's just fucking fell down face first. That was brilliant. Classic.
He tried to lean on the pool table.
Dear.
It wasn't there.
Nice, I love it.
Yeah, special. So yeah, that one went down brilliantly, and the boys agreed. Like, I think that was probably the favourite over the weekend. So that was pretty special. The London Heist, which is the experience that I had with the firing the Uzi out the van. That whole affair is super corny, but really, really well done from London Studios. And it's a great way of introducing you to VR. Like, the first bit you fire up, you're in like a lock-up tied to a chair and you're being interrogated, and then it cuts back to an earlier scene in the pub, and this guy just starts like gearing you up with objects. So he's literally just putting some stuff on a table, it loads up, and you've got a cigar in a like an ashtray and a lighter, and it just slowly teaches you that you can pick stuff up. You can light the cigar, you can chuck the lighter over the bar, you can, stub the fag out on the table,
on his
all
face.
Of these things. It just teaches you gradually what is possible, what you can do, and then goes through to a static firefight followed by a van sort of firefight. Very, very cool. That VR Worlds, there's a couple of really good demos on there. There's one with like a scavenger team where you get in a mech, and it's got the teleport mechanic, but you can teleport onto like walls and ceilings as well. So you're constantly like rotating and inverting and stuff, whilst also using the analog stick to move. The thing that I've noticed with the motion sickness is it will do you if you're looking around and using the VR, using the analog, the right analog at the same time, that's when it kicks. When your right analog turning is at odds or coincides with you looking around, that's when it can get you. And it's not like, oh shit, I'm immediately going to throw up.
Yeah.
It just gives you this sort of, or for me at least, it gives you this sort of little uncomfortable kind of pang in your stomach where you're like, oh, like that's, you know, you go like going over a humpback bridge in a car.
Oh, okay.
And that builds. So if you play, if that keeps happening to you and you play for an hour, then it gets to the point where you really just want to take it off because it's just unpleasant. It's not like you're going to be ill, but it's just like, you know, if you continually stub your toe for an hour, you're eventually going to get fucking sick of it. So that's kind of the way it is.
We just got Dave Russell in the chat. He says he bought his daughter an Oculus Rift for Christmas, and she had to send it back because it made her sick after 20 minutes, and it destroyed her for the rest of the day. So be careful.
Yeah, shit, man. Yeah, and this is the thing, and this was obviously the biggest problem when they were bringing these sets out. Is, you know, a lot of these are very expensive purchases, like, and to take a punt on one, you know, it's hard to do. So they've had to be very, very creative with their marketing, very careful with their money back guarantees and stuff. And there's only so much you can do. The software developers, they have to have a huge role to play. And certainly, the next one I'm going to talk about, and comfortably the greatest thing on PSVR right now. This is absolutely one of the most amazing gaming experiences I've ever had in my whole life on anything.
Yeah.
And that is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Is
really
absolutely amazing experience. There's nothing like it, and I would go so far as to say that if you're thinking about purchasing some sort of toy or something, you're not like super poor, like you've got a little bit of money to play with, then I think this game is almost worth the price of entry on its own.
Really?
Literally,
so you're saying this game is like 300 odd quid's worth of money?
I'm saying that in a year's time or so, when you can pick up PSVR for £200, the fact that Resi 7 is on there, even if nothing else came out, is very nearly worth the price of entry alone, because it does stuff that nothing has ever done. It makes you feel how you've never felt. It's genuinely unbelievable.
Is that feeling a bad feeling? Because I don't like the bad feelings.
I don't know what it is about it, but it's not that terrifying in a conventional sort of jump scary, awful way. And there's something about being immersed in the world that makes it less likely to upset you just from jump scares.
Okay.
There's a constant sense of kind of...
I feel like you're tricking me into a false sense of security right here.
There's a sort of unpleasant feeling of sort of being trapped when you've got that, when you're playing that game.
That sounds fun.
That's kind of... That's the big thing that's kind of more affecting, I think, than the jump scares.
Yeah.
You know, and I have jumped a few times, but you're so enthralled and invested in the thing that it doesn't necessarily affect you in the same way that like a movie would, where it's just specifically designed to make you go, oh fuck, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when I'm being kind of hounded around this dark house by a dude with a shovel, and he suddenly bursts through a fucking drywall into the corridor, I jumped. I jumped a hell of a lot, but I didn't like shit my pants and want to take it off.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, holy hell, that really made me jump.
Cool.
But,
yeah,
it wasn't like super unpleasant.
Okay.
There's something about this, and I think it's obviously a mixture of things, but one of the massive things is the lighting engine. Just makes it feel so realistic, even though the texture quality isn't really there.
Okay, yeah.
And this game, to be brutally honest, watching this game just on the TV, obviously we were playing this, like, you know, when I had, like, Funk and PJ and so on, and watching it on the TV, it's a really conventional, bog standard sort of, just a horror game.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing going on there in terms of, I mean, it does some cool stuff, the story's entertaining, and it certainly knows it's not taking itself, like, too seriously. but the difference is night and day. Like this is a 6 out of 10 game outside of VR and a 10 out of 10 game inside the headset. It's absolute night and day. Crazy stuff.
I mean,
like,
I just got to play it at some point. I mean, I'll be down next month. I'll show you.
You'll get to experience it then and see. Like,
I'm so excited.
How you feel. A few good things about this. I hate those horror games where all you can do is hide in a fucking cupboard.
Yeah.
Most of the encounters in this you can block while you try and decide how you're going to get away or what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You also have a series of, like, an arsenal of weapons that it slowly presents you with that kill shit. You know, so you're not defenseless. It's not one of these games where you just have to keep running away and you can't achieve anything.
I don't enjoy like what was the one? Outlast
Soma was one
was it Outlast?
Outlast, where you just hide in a fucking cupboard.
That was annoying.
Like, no, it's not fun. It's not fun.
I've got a camera.
Exactly, battery's running out. It's bullshit, isn't it? Yeah. There's no cheapness to this. Like it's very clever level design. There's a bit where like you're captured and then you wake up and you're at the dinner table with this fucking crazy family. There's like a dead woman beside you and they're all eating like slugs and stuff.
Obviously.
And there's just something about it that is utterly incredible.
Nice.
I played another like 2.5 hours before I started feeling it really sort of uncomfortable stomach wise and I had to turn it off. Whether that's something I'll adjust to or whether it'll always be there, I don't really know. And the game comes by default with this non-smooth turning on. And that seems to be the thing that fucks people the most, is smooth turning on the analog stick.
Oh, okay.
So Resident Evil 7 is set to when you turn the right stick, left or right, it turns at 30-degree increments rather than this constant smoothness. And that'll cut the motion sickness out completely. It cut it out. I turned it on again the other night just to see if it fixed it for me, and it did. But you lose a hell of a lot of the immersion.
Yeah, I was going to say you haven't got the fluidity there, have you?
No.
So it's more
it's a
of
big old trade-off.
One of those games, the VR games where it's like point and click, and it teleports you to there. That kind of feeling, maybe. I guess.
Yeah. It's a bit different. I think it's probably best played in the smooth turning for hours, like 1 hour at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can kind of stomach it, but everyone's different. But I was hoping this was going to be something special. I'd heard a lot of people say so. And it did not disappoint. This is comfortably the best thing I've played on that. I'm obsessed with it. It's absolutely remarkable.
Nice.
If someone had showed me it when I was little, I think I would have exploded, like literally exploded. It's like what you would imagine games to be like, but it's here,
the
kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely, genuinely,
genuine,
like that sort of level of unbelievable.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll run through a few more. Gran Turismo Sport is decent, like it's good fun. The lack of game modes is a bit of an issue, but it's very fun, it's very enjoyable, and it drives a lot better in VR, I think, because you're just in the perspective, and that's what I've also found with Dirt Rally, which is comfortably the best racing experience. Haven't tried Drive Club VR yet because it's like 17 quid.
Yeah, wait till that goes in the sale.
It's too much, that.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, Dirt Rally VR is excellent. It's the full game, obviously textured down massively, but frame rates up in the 60s as you'd expect. And it's easier. It's an easier game because you feel like you're driving a car.
Yeah,
like
that makes
not
sense.
just in terms of obviously I've got the steering wheel set up. It genuinely feels like you're driving a car, and as such, you can gauge the braking zones better. You just get more of a feel for it, and I found that I'm matching my old times that I was setting from on the TV with the steering wheel. Yeah. It just feels more stable and more grounded because you're in the car, and you can look around. Very, very cool. So yeah, good stuff with those. Not so good. Trackmania VR just feels like a right old gimmick. You've got no camera controls, so the standard control setting is the standard camera setting is third person. which is really weird. Like, why do you want that? And all I can think is that, like, people can't stomach it.
Yeah,
I turned on the roller coaster tracks. When you go onto the loops and stuff, it goes first person, and then you get a sort of sense.
So it does
of
that exact same thing, like, you know, when it like the actual game.
This just feels bolted on. Like, this doesn't feel like
that doesn't sound right.
It's quite cool looking around and stuff, but obviously it's a cartoony, low graphical fidelity game anyway. Just feels like a gimmick rather than, you know, it's worth playing, really. So nothing much going on there. The Surgeon Simulator, obviously loads of fun, just a silly game. Obviously the difference when you're playing with Move controllers versus a controller is you can actually do shit. You can actually pick stuff up properly. You can turn things round, and we had quite a lot of fun with that, just poncing about. It's really fun, stupid game. Lots of different scenarios. You know, hammering someone's like rib cage in and replacing their heart.
Always good.
You know,
that's what you want.
PJ played a blinder who's doing brain surgery. He just mashed the dude's skull in, pulled the brain out, just cut it off with a saw, and then just there was a jar with the other brain in on the shelf.
Yeah. He
literally just picked that up and upturned it and just emptied the whole jar into the dude's head, and it was like B+. Well done. It's fucking good.
Well good.
So yeah, lots of other demos and stuff. I could go on for ages. I probably shouldn't, but yeah, lots of demos. I got the PSVR Demo 1 disc comes with the set, as well as that PSVR World. Yeah. The PSVR Demo Disc 2, for some reason not in Europe at the moment, but is available on the
States, isn't it?
The States one, and that has a demo of Moss, which is this upcoming platforming game where you play a little mouse. And that's one of the first games that takes this sort of different tack, different approach. You're kind of looking over the level, and you can move objects and stuff.
Oh, my perfect
as a
idea
sort of
for a
god.
real-time simulator. Oh.
Yeah, it's got that sort of thing about it where you're kind of overseeing the world, but then with the analog sticks, you can control the mouse. So it's kind of like a dual control type thing, kind of reminiscent of those Rayman levels where you have to speed run them and kind of move things out the way and that sort of thing. But that's really entertaining and quite nicely implemented. Played some other weird shit. Rec Room, which is like a free-to-play thing where you just go into like lobbies, play like Pong with people and stuff. That seems pretty ropey, but free and quite fun to sort of try out and get involved in. And probably the only other one that I was really, really impressed with is Eve Valkyrie. There's a small demo of it on this PSVR Worlds disc. I was so amazed by that thing that I immediately bought it. It's fucking brilliant. Like Eve Valkyrie, proper insane, like space combat.
I want to go to space in VR, buddy.
Gibbons, and I need to download Battlefront because it's got like an X-Wing VR experience on it.
Yeah, get that shit.
So
there's a Call of Duty one as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Need to download that as well. Yeah, the bottom line is there's some amazing stuff on here. Mostly, though, there isn't. Like, there's 118, 125 games on the store, and probably like 15 of them are proper games or compelling or worth playing for any length of time. And the novelty of all these little demos and experiences and tech demos will wear off, and it will get to the point where this thing needs software. This is what Mel was talking about before. And then we'll have to see whether the software is released quickly enough. I've got a question about that later, so I'll wrap things up for now. But for the time being, there's maybe 5 or 6 compelling experiences on there, with the help of the fact that I've got a steering wheel already and I'm into racing games, which props things up nicely.
That's a massive bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's just about enough there to keep me sweet for a few months, and then we'll have to see what happens after that.
Yeah,
but it's been a fantastic fucking time so far. It's so awesome to have this like really cool piece of technology. It's like by getting a new console. It's that sort of excitement. I'm really pleased that I've taken the plunge. Very, very cool.
Nice, buddy. Well played.
So there we go. And Now it's time for the news.
Fucking news.
Number one.
Number Wang.
Slow news week this week, buddy. Not very much going on at all.
No news week.
Little bit low on the old news front, but hey, here we are. Number one, Number Wang. Let's kick things off with a cautionary tale from Kickstarter, buddy. It's been a little while since there's been a heavily publicised example of kind of Kickstarter goes wrong kind of thing. Like, we've seen this in the past, haven't we? Various different projects that didn't come off. And some would argue that some of the more prominent current, allegedly successful projects, I'm thinking about stuff like Star Citizen, which seems like an open-ended, like never-ending, like sink of time and money.
Yeah.
And whether it actually ever fulfills its sort of comes up to what it's supposed to, who really knows? But this is, I suppose, a cautionary tale to remind you that when you chuck money at Kickstarter, you're not necessarily always going to get what you want. This is the System Shock reboot from the developers Night Dive Studios. They raised $1.35 million back in 2016 and have been working on things ever since. Originally, it was going to be some sort of reboot, and then they decided it was going to be a remake. They since switched it out of the Unity engine into Unreal 4. The studio has basically said the whole project's been put on hiatus. It's just basically they've stopped for the time being. They've said that things have just got out of control in terms of the production of this game. Obviously, trying to do too much, I think, probably is what's going on.
Like from reading about it and stuff, it's just shit's just gone wrong, and there's no turning back now. All these changes that they've made have been drastic ones, and hiatus, mate. Hopefully, that's where it is at the moment, and they will come back.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, hiatus is often used when they don't know if they're going to come back. There's a lot of bands I used to listen to in the 90s, buddy, who are currently on hiatus.
Indeed, they are.
Like 20 years later.
That will happen.
They insist that they will come back. This is a temporary break while they sort of get their house in order and go again. But yeah, I mean, obviously I wish them well. Like, System Shock, cool games, kind of eventually spawned BioShock, one of my favourite franchises.
Yeah.
Great developers come out of that sort of those early games, and I hope that they get there. But it's just a reminder, I suppose, that when you chuck money at Kickstarter, you're not necessarily buying a conventional product. And I guess we'll just keep tabs on this and see how it goes. But for the time being, it's all ground to a halt, and it's a bit worrying for potential backers.
Indeed, it is.
I
mean, that's the thing. I've been
making it a while. They've spent that money.
Exactly. Like I've thought about backing a few things on Kickstarter, and that's the thing. I'm always hesitant about it because you're not guaranteed to get anything out of it. I mean, that's it. It's like, yeah, well, fund us and we'll try and make this kind of thing.
Yes, it's always a risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
And not one that we're very often willing to take, I would say.
No, I mean, we're even hesitant to just even pre-order a game these days, to be honest, aren't we? Like,
that's the thing that's always kind of confused me, really, is that everyone always goes on about how, no one should ever pre-order, but they very rarely talk about crowdfunding in the same way. It's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing, if it's worse, in fact.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I don't know. Hopefully it'll get there, but hiatus for now. Number 2, buddy. Farming Simulator 19 has been announced.
Oh, I know, right? How good
wouldn't necessarily normally mention this, but firstly, graphically, looks awesome. And a whole host of new stuff. But a couple of the standout features, buddy. It's going to have oses in it.
Oh, mate, it's going to have some oses.
Os. And you can have a dog in this one. You can have a little pup.
Have a little dog, mate.
Yeah.
Farm like never before.
Yeah. Farm like never before.
I think that's the tag, wasn't it, or something?
I think it is. Yeah.
There you go, mate.
Lots of interesting new features on the farming sim games. I'd love to see the all the sales figures for the farming sim games stretching back from, say, like 2012.
Yeah.
Like, how much does it cost to make a farming sim game? How much do they sell? How many people are playing them? Like, I'd
just
really
look
love
at
to
the
know all
mod
of
scene
this.
on it. It's insane. There's loads of people. They love that shit.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah, it's the perfect sort of mod game, isn't it? Really.
Yes.
Man, special times. But yeah, so that's Farming Simulator 19. There we go. Moss. We were just talking about Moss, which is you play as Quill, the little mouse. She kind of mooches through the world. You control her with the right stick, and then you can move other things around with your analog sticks and achieve things in VR.
Looks possibly cool, though.
It is cool. Good. Yeah, it's really fun. The demo that's on the demo disc 2 is the reveal demo trailer and what people were playing at E3 last year. So quite an old build at this point. But the game itself is actually out on the 27th of February. So very, very soon indeed. Less than a week's time, which is pretty cool. There we go. Very, very cool indeed. I'm probably going to get that, I would imagine.
I would buy it if I had VR.
Yeah. The missus likes it as well, which makes a big difference.
It's got a little mouse in it, mate. What's not to love?
Gibbons. There you go. Fucking sweet. And finally from me, as I said, very slow news week. Like there's a fair old bit out this week, but nothing really compelling and nothing really worth
that's the thing. I was
on.
looking for it. I was like, this is all bullshit. I don't care.
Yeah. Nothing special. Burnout Paradise. We spoke about it a few weeks ago. It was rumoured that there was going to be a remaster coming out of Burnout Paradise. This has now been confirmed. It has a release date, and it will arrive on the 16th of March. Some things about it. It's going to run 60 frames per second on the standard consoles in 1080. The Pro and the Xbox One X will run this thing in 4K 60. It's going to have 8-player online, and it won't have microtransactions.
Even though it said it would, but then they were like, no.
Yeah.
It won't.
So they kind of released something that suggested it was going to have like microtransactions and possibly even loot crates.
I love it.
And then they retracted that and said that was a mistake in the marketing campaign and it wasn't supposed to have that.
Because the marketing campaign was produced months ago when these were things that they were going to put in their games, and now they're like, oh no, we're not, but we might later.
We were never going to do that.
No, we weren't doing that. We're not a bunch
You can trust us.
Yeah. JJ brought this up in our in the Discord chat. If you want to get on our Discord channel, just go over to our website, the JfGpodcast.co.uk, hit that Discord button and join in. We talk about video games.
We love a bit of it.
Yeah. So he brought it up, saying it's coming out. I was like, yeah, just make a new one. He was like, or do you really want to pay $100 for another game, another Burnout with like a season pass riddled with Need for Speed style loot boxes? Yeah, he's got a point there. I probably don't want to do that.
Probably not. No.
But do I want to spend £35 on a remaster of Burnout Paradise when I've already got it on my PC?
I mean, the PC thing's irrelevant if you wanted to play it with
everyone
friends.
else. Okay, do I want to play Burnout Paradise again?
I would imagine not.
Probably not. I feel like I've had my fair share of that game. I never thought that like the map was that big as well in that game.
No, it wasn't that big.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Obviously, I'd be interested if it had VR, but there's been no mention of that whatsoever. So,
crash time in VR.
Yeah. That's where I am now. There you go.
Take it to the next level, buddy. Why not?
Gibbons. Matthews Bridge, probably.
Matthews Bridge, yeah. That's what I should do.
Gibbons. So, yeah, there you go, buddy. That's my slightly uninteresting and not very much news. So I think it's probably time to hand over to you for my favourite section, and I'm sure the listeners as well, buddy. And that would be Ash's News Favourite Things of the Week.
If you like news but hate information, you have found the right place. Ash's News Favourite Thing of the Week.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, fuck all this week. As you say, no news week. Stardew Valley multiplayer is coming with the 1.3 patch. When that drops, nobody knows.
Ooh.
Up to 4 people. I'm giving you actual stuff here, like the news information.
It's weird. I don't like it.
I know, sorry. Well, yeah, there you go. That's all you get in then. No more about that.
Thanks.
What I want to know is if it's going to be cross-platform, because that'd be pretty cool. Anyway.
That would be cool. What, so you could play on your Switch and I could play on the PS4?
Well, that's not going to work because Sony are cunts. But yeah.
Yeah.
You could get it on your Mac. I'm thinking on Steam.
Oh, yeah. I could do that.
Switch. Yeah, exactly. What did I say? Yeah, 4 people. Apparently you can get married to each other as well, which is nice.
I'll marry you.
I'll marry you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we just announced our engagement or something.
It's the very first JfG podcast wedding on the cards there, buddy.
That's weird.
Get married on top of a mountain.
Ah. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
What else is there? There's a game called Mavericks. I don't really know much about it, but the headline was Forget PUBG. Mavericks has 400 player battle royale with world RPG elements. It sounds.
You said, why doesn't people do more players?
101, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they've gone 400.
These
you think
guys
they've kind of jumped the gun there?
400s, yeah. First-person shooter, something. Mavericks. Yeah, I don't know. Battle Royale games, they're all the rage these days.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And finally, buddy, the feel-good thing of the week. I haven't. No, I can't do it again. Last week was special. But anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog film dated for November 2019.
Yay!
How shit's that gonna be?
It's what everyone wants.
I mean, if any game was a film, probably Sonic.
No one actually likes Sonic, do they?
I don't like it. He's a cunt. The only time that I kind of liked Sonic was in the cartoon, and he ate loads of chili dogs. And he was a bit of a cunt.
Sonic will be directed by Jeff Fowler, who is making his directorial debut with the project.
Fucking sweet.
There you go.
I mean, I'm in. Sign me up.
I mean, the executive producer is Tim Miller, who's the director of Deadpool.
Okay. Is it going to go a bit dark?
I don't know. It's going to be a really sweary Sonic adventure. Really sweary. I would definitely watch an X-rated Sonic, not triple X-rated Sonic. I mean, Red
maybe.
Band Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
What was his name? Shadow the Hedgehog? He was the dark one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Not racist, by the way. He
was genuinely dark.
He was the darky. Yeah.
He was dark.
Yeah. So there you go, buddy. There's fuck all news favourite things this week. Very light on the news, and I've been trawling it all week, you know. Nothing.
Yeah, same, buddy. I've been keeping an eye out, but there's just fuck all going on.
It's all bullshit, mate. Bullshit.
We're in the February lull.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, thank you for that news, buddy. That was your news, and before that was my news, such as it was. And now we'll move on. And now it's time for Out This Week.
That's out this week, buddy. What's out this week? Have we got anything good? Well, Moss, obviously.
Yeah, we got a Moss.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
What else? We've got Games for Gold, buddy.
Oh, games for Gold.
We haven't got PS Plus because the first is on Thursday, so they can wait.
Oh, yeah, they got another week. Don't worry.
We've got another week.
Yeah.
So there's that annoying fucking thing again. What I will say about the PS Plus lineup is there have been rumours from a certain Spanish YouTuber who has had inside access to PS Spain that March's PS Plus will be, quote, the best ever since its inception in 2011.
Knack 2!
We'll believe that when our shit turns purple. It tastes like rainbow sherbet, buddy. But, yeah, the best ever, apparently. Hopefully lots of VR games, buddy. That's
your bag,
what I
baby.
want there. Givens. Haven't played that Starblood Arena yet.
What about that haven't we got that Rigs as well?
I didn't download it, I don't think. So unless you've got it on your profile.
I've got it, yeah. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, sweet. I'll play that. Apparently that's the one that makes you feel super sick. So
cool.
That'll be
That's
fun.
why I'm sending it to you right now.
Yeah, I'll be a volcano. That's what I do. So Xbox Games with Gold, buddy. Games for Gold. Xbox One gets the Trials of the Blood Dragon and Super Hot.
Okay.
And the 360, you get Brave the video game and Quantum Conundrum. And those are obviously backwards compatible as well.
Brave the video game.
On Xbox One X. Upscaled to 4K.
I mean,
thing.
Better news than that, I've just sent Rigs to your console. So there you go.
Beautiful.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for that.
Trials of the Blood Dragon, it's a Trials add-on. So
that reviewed very poorly.
That's shit. Super hot. Yeah. I'd love to play that game, but probably better in VR. I'm gonna say it is better in VR.
And I would imagine at this point that if you'd played it in VR, then you'd be like, get fuck all out of it playing it.
Pointless, yeah. And just what is Quantum Conundrum? I don't even know that game on the 360. So, like, it's fucking got to be absolutely terrible. Yeah, we're just both copy and pasting it. Oh, it's that game. Yeah, no. Okay, fine, cool. I mean,
it's a puzzle platformer, buddy.
It's rated highly, but I would expect more from a 360 game this day and age in Games for Gold.
Yeah.
And also better than Brave the video game. I mean, that's a fucking joke.
I'm pretty sure Quantum Conundrum was PS Plus like ages ago as well.
Oh, was it? I don't know.
Like before PS4. It's
okay. Yeah.
A really long time ago. But yeah. Nothing special really. I mean, Super Hot's the standout, but you can pick that up super cheap on the Xbox Live Store.
And also Trials as well. You can buy like I just don't know. You could
probably buy all 4 of those games for £15.
Yeah, or less. Probably.
Or less.
Yeah.
So it's not great value, is it? I mean, obviously value is not everything, and if the games are great, then the games are great. But the games aren't great.
Games aren't great, so it's not great.
No. So there we go. Also out this week, we have Gravel on the Xbox One. This is a new racing game from Milestone. It's an off-road game made by Milestone. They tend to make sort of the more budget basement racing games.
I've looked at it and I'm like, this kind of looks a bit like Sega Rally Arcade-y, I'd say, in a way, from the footage I've seen.
I mean, a quick rundown of games that Milestone have released or published. Ride, Valentino Rossi, the video game,
Great
NXGP, Sebastian Loeb Rally,
great game,
WRC,
great game,
Ducati 90th Anniversary Edition.
Great game.
You get the idea.
Did they release Handball? Because that's also another great game. I'm going to say no. So. It's got to be some European crazy people that produce Handball.
That was Big Ben published that one. They're the other sort of budget UK team. So yeah, anyway, that's Gravel. We've also got De Blob 2 on PS4 and Xbox One, which is a side-scrolling platformer where you play as a blob. We've got Immortal Redneck on the Xbox One.
Obviously.
Great name. This is a first-person shooter roguelite. Reminded me of that tower thing that we had on PS Plus a little while back, with the sort of various robots and the levels that kind of designed themselves and were different every time. It's got those roguelike elements. But yeah, basically like a tower progression type game. You've got Moss for PSVR. It's coming out this week, and I might well pick that up if I can justify buying yet another game this week. Payday 2 comes to Switch.
Brilliant.
Payday 2.
Fucking sign me up. I can't get enough Payday 2.
I just need it to come out on another console.
I need it on at least every device that I own.
Gibbons.
Which is all of them. When did Payday 2 actually come out? Like, seriously, because...
What, on the 360?
Yeah, it was just a fucking... 2013. We're talking 5 years ago. Actually, yeah, that's not that long ago, to be honest. I thought it was...
on a lot of...
It felt like longer than that. That's surprising. I can't
believe it's been out on... It feels like it's been out on everything.
It has. PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, 360, PS3, Windows, and also Linux.
It's out on Linux.
Out on Linux. All our budding Linux.
I remember having a good time with that game.
Up to a stage, and then it just was shit because it was too hard.
It didn't run very well.
No, it didn't run very well on the 360. Maybe it'll run really well on the Switch.
Maybe.
Doubt it.
Probably not.
Yeah. We should pick it up on the PS4 and try it out. It's normally in that bracket of like £4, like every other month.
It's tempting for that sort of price.
We'll do it.
I heard it was riddled with loot boxes and stuff, though.
Did they take those out again? I think they took it out, because didn't it go free to play for a bit, and they were like, no, this doesn't work. I don't know. I feel like we should move on from Payday 2, because who really cares?
Finally out this week, we have Rift Star Raiders on the Xbox One. It's another good name. And this is a top-down sort of puzzle asteroids type game where you float around as a little ship. And,
just on a side note,
do stuff.
While you're talking about that, side note, what's it called? Our group, is it in Monster Hunter World? We're called the Backdoor Raiders.
There you go.
Yeah, it's our business. It's what we get into.
You're all about it.
Yeah,
it's what you're known for.
Backdoor raiding.
Yeah,
24/7.
Corner in the market in backdoor raiding. There it is.
Yeah, mate. Sorry. Lowering in the tone once again.
Gibbons. Well, there you go. That's out this week. There's not really anything, is there? To be honest.
I'm excited about the PS Plus games.
Yeah, they're going to be the best ones ever.
So what's the best one been so far? Rocket League?
Certainly Rocket League was the most successful.
But what about best?
I don't know.
Metal Gear Solid? I mean, you bought that game, though.
Yeah.
Knack.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that was incredible.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I'm thinking. Rocket League. Got to be. Nothing.
I think it is Rocket League.
Nothing's beating that on that kind of level.
I thought Transistor was a good one.
Yeah, Transistor was good.
I can't really think of anything else.
I know, right? They've all been so shite, to be honest.
Guacamelee.
Yeah, that was good. King's Quest, wasn't that? That was just
Journey.
One of the... Journey, yeah, that was good. That's a really good game. Maybe we'll do the top 5 next week. Top 5 PS Plus games so far. Have we done that already? I feel like we might have done that.
I think we might have, but there's been more now, so we can do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll just fucking rehash.
It's Rocket League.
That's what people do with the top 5s.
Gibbons. Well, there you go. That's out this week.
Sweet.
Every week, we end the show with questions and comments sent in by you. If you've got anything for us, just pop an email to the jfgpodcast@gmail.com or contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or at justforgamers.co.uk.
And now it's time for JfG Street Beats.
You got a question we want to know. Street Beat. Facebook, Twitter, we're on them all. So hit us up and be on the show. Beat. The JfG Street Beat.
Street Beat.
We want to know.
Get on the show.
Get on the show. And this week we got a bit of a discussion. This was inevitably going to happen, buddy, in this VR-heavy episode with regular contributors to the show, Funk and PJ. having played VR for the first time, although PJ had done a terrible VR bungee jumping experience some years ago. But that doesn't really compare to this. But they've got some thoughts on their experience, buddy, and I thought I would read them out here. So this is what they thought. Here we go. So PJ says, thought the VR experience at the weekend was cool. Works great with the racing games, makes you really feel the tracks, undulations and camber, etc. Was really immersive in Resident Evil, and the best was Super Hot, which was loads of fun, but a pretty terrible name.
Great name, Super Hot.
Super Hot.
Super Hot. Great name.
He says, hasn't swayed me to buy one, but I'm less of a fuck VR mindset now and can see it having a lot of potential when the hardware has the beans to up the resolution in the headset and once there is a greater array of compatible or made for VR games.
Oh, so he's like, I like it, but just not yet.
Yeah, I think that was the impression I got from the pair of them, really. They thought it was very cool, but felt also that it was still too niche and there wasn't really enough there yet for them in terms of actually taking the plunge themselves. Funk kind of echoes that. He says, yeah, it's a weird one. I really enjoyed it. Racing was great. Resi was scary, but not my bag, really. Loved Super Hot and the heist demo thing. I'm still kind of in the fuck VR camp, though, as I think it's so far away from having enough quality games to make it worthwhile for your average Joe for the money. He says it's great that one of us has it because we can come and play it. Woo!
Nice.
The experience I'm waiting for is how we play Project Cars together on a game night, but in VR. Probably next gen consoles now, though, you reckon? And PJ kind of echoes that and says, yeah, next gen. So I think that's kind of what they were thinking. I just got to say,
Project Cars in VR where someone jumps over you, like in the video on YouTube that I've posted. I would shit myself, I think. It's like,
that'd be special. Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. Jesus. That reaction.
I think that's the thing. This is the thing. At the moment, there is not enough content for your average gamer to feel that they should take the plunge.
It's been out, a year and 4 or 5 months or something now? 4 or 3?
Yeah, it's coming up on 18 months in sort of April time.
And, you know, in that time frame, do you feel like it's had enough developers obviously developing for it? I mean, we're not specifically looking at PSVR here, I guess we're looking at all of them, but I mean, if you looked at like exclusive VR games compared to non-exclusive, would you say the exclusive ones are a step above of the other ones, or not really?
I think it's kind of hard to say at this point. I think across 18 months of a console's release, I think if you looked back to when the PS4 came out and looked at the top 10 games for the PS4 in its opening 18 months.
That'd be like Battlefield 4 or something.
It was pretty shite.
It was a bad launch.
It was certainly the first year was quite terrible, and the only thing that really propped it up was all of those EA franchise games, which weren't especially compelling anyway. And would you rather have quirky, weird VR experiences made by independent studios, or a rehashing of a Battlefield game, or FIFA in a new engine with the same sort of stuff? I think if you compare it to a console launch, I don't think it's too bad. What I would say is I don't believe that the support from the mainline AAA developers is that forthcoming, and a lot of that is probably to do with certainly the limitations of the hardware, the fact that the PS4 is only so powerful, can only do so much. And it's worth noting that some of the stuff it does is truly remarkable. I mean, I haven't played Skyrim or Doom yet in VR. One thing I will say, the teleporting is not really my bag, but certainly it does work far better when you're holding a Move controller and you've got precise definition of where you want to aim. It actually works a hell of a lot better than I was expecting it to. But the bottom line is the software isn't there yet, and Mel echoed this last week. And I'm sorted for a couple of months now, and then I'm going to have to start seeking out new experiences as well. But what it needs, I mean, the racing games will take care of themselves. I think this year there'll be new racing games. I wouldn't be at all surprised if F1 had some sort of VR mode in it this year, but I don't think you're going to see, certainly on this technology, as Funk and PJ kind of alluded to there, it's not got the chops to have, you know, GT Sport with online play in VR. It can only do one computer car, and that's a bit of a problem. So I think they're right. I think that it needs to build and find its feet for the rest of this generation, and then if it's still got its tendrils in then, and it's sold another couple of million units, then when the next PlayStation comes out, there should be enough power there, because you're already seeing it on the PC, on the Oculus and on the Vive. You can play Project Cars, you can play shooters, all manner of stuff in VR. The console just hasn't quite got the beans, which is, to be honest, understandable considering the gulf in price is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It's one thing I will say, it really is incredible technology. I think it's quite amazing. I love the fact that I've got it, and I'm more than willing to find the fun, persevere with stuff. I play games with the missus quite a lot, and so sharing it actually works a hell of a lot better than you would think, having like 3 or 4 people in a room take it in turns, trying out new stuff. It's cool. It's just a really enjoyable experience. It's not got the sort of closed-minded sort of fuck-off atmosphere of I'm inside my little bubble and no one talk to me or anything. It works pretty well in that respect.
Nice.
But yeah.
We just had Dan in the chat. He says, I just used PSVR for the first time. Fork.
It's pretty... Yeah. It's amazing. When you first put it on, it's absolutely amazing. And we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about it loads more when you come down and try it out as well.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Then we can have a much better sort of two-way conversation about it. And I'll have a few more games at that point as well. There's other stuff I haven't tried yet that I want to. That's
Rigs.
out, like the Inpatient Rigs, Eagle Flight. I really like the look of. Elite Dangerous is one that I might want to get into as well.
Definitely,
so
that's cool.
there's stuff there, but yeah. Finally, Funk asks this question. He says, what's Alex looking forward to in the next year for his new toy? So he likes the look of that London Heist follow-up. That's certainly one that I'm pretty excited about. I'm looking forward to Blood and Truth. That is the guys who made the London Heist. They're making a full-blown game. The London Heist is like a 1-hour demo. This is a full single-player experience. A sort of lock stock kind of thing, and the London Heist, as corny as it is, it knows that it is. It's a bit funny, it's a bit sweary, it's a lot of you fatty mug me off, a lot of that going on. It's really, really cool, and that's going to be an absolute day one must buy for anyone with a VR headset, that game. Moss, obviously, I'll probably pick that up pretty soon. Wipeout is getting a full-blown VR mode this year. Yeah, I mean, that game's awesome, Wipeout, but the idea that you could play the whole thing in VR is really exciting. And
scary.
They might have a few tricks up their sleeve there. Everyone might just chunder everywhere, buddy. Who knows? Obviously, Dreams from Media Molecule, they're making a game where you can create stuff.
Make your own games.
Exactly. That's going to have... it's going to have full VR shortly after launch. You'll be able to make VR games and so on and so forth. And the other really interesting one, making use of that PlayStation, that gun controller that Farpoint uses. There's a game coming out called Bravo Team, also from London Studio, I believe. And that is a co-op sort of Delta Force-esque tactical shooter, a cover shooter, that you can play the whole co-op experience with a friend. And I don't think that's been done yet. So that
sounds very cool.
Quite a big step forward, and something worth noting, and certainly Resident Evil really shows this off, is when you're hiding behind a wall and you're thinking, and you go, I wish I had some way of like peering around the corner, and then you realise you can literally peer around the corner. So you're hiding behind a wall, and then you just like, hang on. and you just lean your whole body and look out round the corner and you can see down the corridor. Stuff like that's just fucking ripe for virtual reality stuff. So yeah, that'd be it. That's 5 there for you to start off. Wipeout's a bit cheaty, but I'll have it anyway. And obviously, looking forward to E3. Hopefully, there'll be some big announcements there as well.
Nice, buddy. Dan's just in the chat again. Is just said PS4 optical drive just died. Just a quickie. Slim or Pro for a replacement? Is it worth the extra ton?
Has he got a 4K telly?
He has got a 4K telly.
Then yeah, I'd say. Would you?
I would say at this stage in the game, yes, upgrade to the Pro, because a lot of games are utilizing that extra power now. I spoke about Monster Hunter, how you can upscale stuff in that. They seem to be supporting the Pro a lot more with the new beta patch that's out at the moment. Yeah, we have it, but it's all over the internet, so we can talk about it. Even though it's for 1080p TVs, the super sampling and stuff like that. So on a 4K TV, you have the option to use super sampling, I guess, and run it at 1080p instead on your 4K telly if you want to get a better frame rate. So yeah, you could go down that route, or as I've been looking at replacement parts for controllers, you could actually just buy a replacement optical drive. There's all kinds of websites out there. ReplaceBase is a good one if you're going to go there. Just quickly, if it's just the laser itself, you're looking around, I don't know, like 17 quid. Or you could buy the replacement deck with the rails as well for like 25 quid. So, I mean, that is also an option if it is just your optical drive.
Yeah, if it's just the drive, then 25 quid's pretty reasonable for... Yeah, I mean, obviously, it depends how much you use the drive as well, doesn't it?
Yes, that's true. So. Obviously, I don't even... Can't remember the last time I used mine, to be honest, unfortunately.
Yeah, I use it for Metal Gear. Obviously, PSVR Worlds came on a disc, so I've been playing that on there. But certainly, if you're buying a new console at this point, I would go, and you have a 4K telly, then
I would go for the Pro
for 100 quid. It's well worth it, isn't it?
It's odd. Like, I haven't really noticed the difference because obviously I've been playing on a 1080p TV, but since the super sampling has come in, I can't really say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because fuck it. I've noticed a massive difference, which is cool for me. And also, in certain games, you do just get more frames and games will run a lot smoother. Like, it's just a more pleasant PlayStation experience. And that's pretty much why I chose it, because all my games are on PlayStation. I wanted something more powerful. This was the thing that was there, so I got it.
Gibbons, also worth noting, if you have any interest in PSVR and you say you just tried it out, that shit runs far better on the Pro in a lot of instances. A lot of games run better on the PS4 Pro, and also games that you kind of want to get that experience where one person's playing and everyone else is watching on the TV. The PS4 natively it'll box the screen, it'll downscale it, and on the Pro you'll still get some of that 1080 goodness when you've got someone playing in the headset as well. So yeah, in terms of performance, texturing and stuff in the headset, it all helps. Like it all improves things a great deal if you were looking to go down that route at all.
Gibbons.
So yeah, so thanks very much for that to Dan and to PJ and to Funk. And JJ as well, because you were talking to him about stuff this week as well.
Gibbons, yeah.
Don't want to miss anyone, buddy. We're inclusive here.
Oh, everyone's a winner, baby.
Gibbons. So I think that'll about do us, buddy, for episode 151 of the podcast. I've got that VR chat out my system. I'll try and keep that to a minimum because who gives a fuck about that?
We're going to have fuck all to talk about next week because you'll be playing VR still and I'll still be playing Monster Hunter.
Gibbons, it's true. Yeah.
I like how we just fucking get it all out in one episode. Like, new stuff, yeah! And then it's like, yep, still playing that one this week and for the next 5 to 6 weeks.
Well, I'll have finished Resi next week, so I can have a chat about that.
Oh, nice, cool.
And may have played Moss, we'll see. But, yeah, who knows. I guess I can talk about new games if I've bought them. And rigs. I'll talk about rigs.
Rigs, mate. Yeah, I need to know if that makes you vom.
Desperate to know. Yeah.
I need to know.
Put paper down. Need to try out VR porn at some point as well, buddy.
Get that swivel chair on there, mate.
Yeah, swivel it round. Yeah.
VR gangbang.
What are we going to play now?
PES.
Okay. Sweet, let's do that then.
We're not playing Monster Hunter World right now. It's too late in the mix.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I don't want to try and get into that at 10:10.
No, it's a bad idea. You need to set out at 7:30, 8 o'clock on an evening, and I'll be there with you, holding your hand to be like, bear with me, buddy. We'll get through this.
And
by then it'll be like,
plan,
still shit. Yeah. JJ kind of mocked me this week as well. Or mocked both of us this week, because obviously when I was playing with him, he was just like, yeah, I vaguely remember a couple of guys saying that this game was really shit and looked terrible. I'm like, yeah.
I haven't changed my tune on that thing yet.
Well, that's true. Half of us still feel the same way.
It was wank.
Well, there you go.
So there we go. Fuck yourself. There you go.
Just me who's the cunt then.
Well, I'd imagine things might have changed by this time next week, but we shall see, buddy. That's another great reason to join us, of course. You can find us in a variety of places. I'll name them here.
I still haven't fixed the website issue with the email thing, so don't use that as the contact reference.
We haven't heard from that mystery dude who emailed us.
I got another one as well. I feel like I'm getting spammed.
Hopefully they are spam and it's not genuine people trying to contact us.
I know, right? Because there's a million other ways of doing that.
There are several other ways.
Please tell us where.
Yeah. You can find us on www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, and if you do want to contact us at the moment, you can use the contact page or JfG Street Beat.
You can't use the contact page.
You can't. That's the thing that's broken.
Yeah.
Okay. JfG Street Beat on the website. You can use that to contact us.
Fill your fucking boots.
Even if you just want to say, I sent something to your contact page and it's fucked, you assholes. That's fine. We'll read that out. So pop that in there. Fill your boots. You can also find us on Facebook /the JfG Podcast, Twitter, where we are at the JfG Podcast. Twitter. We're on some of the video streaming sites, YouTube. We're on there. We're on Twitch.tv. We're on Mixer.com, aka Beam.fucking-pro. Soundcloud.com /just for gamers. If you want to listen to episode 120 something, that's fine. That'll just stay like that until the next time archive.org is down 1 week and I have to emergency wise chuck it up on something else. Nice. And then maybe it'll be updated at that point.
Maybe.
Come and join our PS4 community. I've got some pictures from my trip to the zoo today, horses and things that may or may not be horses. Might need some help on that, buddies. So come and join our PS4 community. Just search the JfG Podcast on your app or on your console and come and join us. I'm going to do some streaming this week. It's come to my attention that the camera, as well as tracking my movements, can live stream me. So I think probably
in VR,
a good idea.
Looking like a melon.
Looking like a moron.
Yeah. I'll watch that.
Who wouldn't like that? So expect a little bit of that from me in the coming days, buddies. And of course, we're also on Google+, if that is how you choose to live your life. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time. Until then, I've been Alex. He has been Ash.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
You've been listening to the JfG Podcast with Ash and me, Alex. To find out more, head to www.justforgamers.co.uk, Facebook /the JfG Podcast, or Twitter, where we are at the JfG Podcast. Episodes go live every Sunday, and if you could pop onto iTunes and write us a quick review, we would love every inch of you, even if you got old and fat. Thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.